Well, Mountaineers lost again, but they showed some fight in this one. It wasn't a blowout. Showed some fight, showed some toughness, showed some grit. And really, this is a loss that was just characterized by missed opportunities and coulda, shoulda, woulda on this episode of Mountaineer Moment. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. All right, everybody, welcome into episode 59 of Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball, available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe. It's a Mountaineer Moment and the movement that we've got going on here. Super thrilled to be our 59th episode on a podcast show that's been around for just about 2 months, so almost an episode a day, believe it or not, and pretty cool stuff. So if you haven't subscribed yet, haven't liked this video yet, haven't left a comment yet, make sure to do that. And because I just love interacting with you guys and appreciate the support in that way. And if you subscribe, obviously you'll be in the know when we have new stuff coming your way. Again, just about on a daily basis on a daily basis at this point in Mountaineer Moment history. So, like I said in that intro, man, West Virginia lost, but different feel to this one. I've said it a lot recently, but, you come into a fourth quarter of a Mountaineer game this season, in Big 12 play through the first 4 games, and you're not nervous, your heart's not going too fast, and you're just waiting for that thing to hit all zeros. But tonight against TCU was a different story. Mountaineers lose this one by a score of 23-17. They had a chance at the end, obviously onside kick, which we're going to talk about that, I promise, toward the end of the episode. But you were in the game. You were in the football game. You were down, obviously, double digits. You were down a couple scores the majority of the way. But you stayed in it, kept fighting, found the end zone. Scotty Fox threw for 301 yards on 28 of 41 and 2 touchdowns. Hello, true freshman, welcome. In his second career start, just looked light years ahead of where he was last week. And again, the whole offense and defense, there were just improvements all over the field, and that's not something that has been a trend here for the Mountaineers. That's not something we've really talked about is an improved football team. But that's what we saw against TCU. And what we're going to talk about in this episode specifically, again, are these missed opportunities in this game that you just thinking, man, if that play goes a different way, if that ball bounces a different way, if you make that throw, you make that catch, you convert that fourth down, we're talking about a different game and maybe an outcome where the Mountaineers pick up a win. Unfortunately, we're not sitting here doing that, and we're not going to go super, super hypothetical, but we are going to go through this game and say, you know what? There were missed opportunities. And not turnovers where you shot yourself in the foot a bunch of times, but just things that were there for the taking, and a TCU team that was letting you have it, was keeping you in the game, and you couldn't fully capitalize, couldn't get over that hump, whatever you want to say, in order to get the win. So we're going to start with the Mountaineers' first major kind of thing that jumps off the page for you is West Virginia on fourth down. So fourth down for the game as a whole, they were 2 for 7, and then even looking at that makes me think, they were 3 for 14 on third downs. Total yardage in this one was quite literally even, 343 to 342, so just about in favor of TCU by 1 yard. No turnovers. Time possession for TCU, 34 minutes. West Virginia about 26. And again, fourth downs. So you came out aggressive a couple times in your own field position, going for it. The tush push, the first one got absolutely stuffed, gave TCU the ball, early. And, you continue to be aggressive, which you don't dislike. But fourth downs, it hurt. Obviously there was one in TCU field in TCU territory. Mountaineers were like a chain link short of converting a fourth down, and I think it might have been Sincere Bowers that ran that one, if I remember correctly. But fourth downs hurt you. So instead of extending drives, so whether it was a turnover on downs after 4 plays, or turnover on downs after 13 plays, which the Mountaineers did have on that drive in the second quarter. 13-play, 54-yard drive, down 10-0 that resulted in a turnover on downs as you went for it on 4th and 2 and got 1 yard. It was Dior Hubbard that ran that one, and that was at the TCU 22-yard line. Okay, so early second quarter. That was actually the first play of the second quarter. You go for it on 4th and 2. Hubbard up the middle for 1 yard. You needed 2. Just hurt. Right? A back-breaking play. They did stop TCU on that next drive, and then Mountaineers obviously got the touchdown pass to Barnes to put you on the board 10-7, early in the second quarter. But there's one right there. 4th down hurt you. Could have got, you score that, and then you do the next, drive, obviously, if you bank on another TCU, stalled drive, then who knows what we're looking at. There was more. Obviously, you go 2 for 7. There's more turnovers on downs, right? The West Virginia's second drive of the game, that was the one in TCU, or in their own territory. Fortunately, TCU did have to punt that one. There was a turnover on downs in another one in the second quarter for West Virginia. Where did we get to on that? Yeah, at the TCU 40. Okay, so at the TCU 40, 4th and 2, same half. You're down at this point 17-7 with a few minutes left in the second quarter, and Scotty Fox unable to get her done up the middle on I don't even remember if that was a QB design run or what. I think it might have been, and you turned it over. He got nothing. Yeah. Obviously, in the fourth quarter, an 8-play drive, 48 yards, and a turnover on downs when you were at the TCU 38. Scotty Fox, early in the fourth quarter, we're still down 13. We were down 10 at that point. He tried to find Cam Vaughn, and miscommunication, bad throw, whatever it was, you turned it over. And so at least 3 of these turnovers on downs, fourth downs, were in TCU territory, which obviously makes sense. But these are opportunities, 4th and shorts, right? And we're not talking 4th and 12. We're talking 4th and shorts where your team just didn't execute, and that hurt you. And so that's missed opportunities from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. First quarter to the fourth quarter, they're there, where you either, again, the 13-play drive is significant because, oh my goodness, we haven't had many drives like that all season because of how much this offense has struggled. We've had lots of 3-and-outs and lots of, 4th downs not converted and those kind of things. But, man, oh, man. Hello. So that hurt you. That's missed opportunity number one, though it's plural. There's a few there, is 4th downs. We're going to talk about Scotty Fox, and again, overall, man, it's hard to be upset with his performance in his second career start as a true freshman. Again, 28 of 41, 301 yards and 2 touchdowns. Some really nice thrown balls. We're gonna have another episode even dedicated strictly on him and his performance, but without camping out too much, there were some missed opportunities in the passing game. I think of the deep ball to Cam Vaughn in the fourth quarter where, he just let him a little bit out, and Cam Vaughn caught it, and live, I'm like, he caught that ball, he got a foot down. No way, he definitely got a foot down, and he didn't because the ball sailed out of bounds a little bit when he caught it. So, that's a missed opportunity. There were a few others where he underthrew balls, which I guess isn't uncommon for, a young quarterback, but, even the touchdown to Grayson Barnes, that was almost tipped by a TCU guy. You give him another couple yards, right? Barnes is completely alone on that touchdown. So that ball was underthrown, even though it worked out. But there were, especially deep, right? Scotty Fox, if he's proven anything, the kid can really sling it around. He can really pass it. That's actually the title of our next episode. That Scotty Fox can really sling that thing, and he has and shown that. But there's some throws you want to have back, and again, that's maybe you're nitpicking a little bit, and maybe I am. But you look back and say, Cam Vaughn had his man beat a few times, and you didn't hit him because you underthrew it. And happens every quarterback, every game. Again, overall, very happy with Scotty's performance, but there were definitely missed opportunities in the passing attack. Thirdly, and because there was success through the air, again, 28 for 41, 301 yards, like that's tremendous success for a Mountaineer football program that has only had 27 pass completions the first 3 weeks prior to this. So more pass completions in one game of Scotty Fox than 3 games, which included Scotty and Khalil and Jalen Henderson. So, hello. That's significant. But I will say, for the Mountaineers, now, again, not like running has been their strong suit all year, that although they've been better by committee and Ty Edwards' performance, and it feels like that was so long ago, but I think not being able to run the football is a missed opportunity, because you get the passing game doing this, and if you imagine just West Virginia has an average rushing game, or slightly below average, because they're still putting up, significant yards on the ground, while the average, per rush might not be what you want it to be. Certainly, Rich Rod and this team, the team still has found a way to get some yards in previous weeks. I'll give you those numbers in a second, but 32 carries, 41 yards, including Scotty Fox's numbers in there with -14. But even without that in there, it's not very good. Dior Hubbard, 14 carries, 32 yards. That's a 2.3 average. Again, just not good enough to win games. That's what Rich Rod said post-game, right? You rush for that, you're not going to win. You're not going to win games. And it proved to be true, right? Against Utah. West Virginia ran it effectively. 260 yards, including a Jared Bowie 68-yard run in that inflates those. But again, even without that, you're looking at a 200-yard performance. Against BYU, we know what Khalil Wilkins did with his 89 rushing yards, 156 as a team. And then lastly, against UCF in that debacle, that terrible game, West Virginia had 131 yards on 49 carries. Average 2.7, again, not good, but well over 100 yards, and at over 200 yards even in this losing streak. And if you have a 100-yard performance from this Mountaineer rushing attack, we could be talking about a different game because of how effective you were able to be passing the football with Scotty Fox. And so, not saying like all things had to be firing on all cylinders in order to get this win, but you were getting it done through the air, which should have allowed you to have a little more success on the ground, and you just weren't able to do so. So that's a missed opportunity, in my opinion. And last but not least, maybe the one you've been waiting for, that onside kick debacle, I'm going to call it. So beautiful execution, really, for the Mountaineers to blow that up. And then, TCU jumps on it. I still haven't seen a replay that really tells the tale of exactly why TCU got that ball, if I can kind of say it that way. I like to think that they made the right call. Just because I don't want to be like hosed, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be on the outcome of something that should have went our way. But again, I haven't seen a replay that tells me or explains that situation to me while they ruled TCU ball. But again, the announcer was like, "It's West Virginia ball," and I'm like, the referee's clearly pointing in TCU's direction. There might have been another ref pointing somewhere else. I don't know. But that was a mess, and I've seen plenty of dog piles, right? Fumble, and you jump on it, and it's whoever comes out of that pile. It might not be the first guy that gets in there with the ball, but whoever comes out the pile with it, it's that team's ball. And West Virginia came out with the ball, and then the ref pointed TCU ball. So I don't know what the point of letting them go for it in the dog pile, what that was for, right? If you're just going to say TCU ball. Again, I like to think without seeing the replay, and you can, I don't even know. I'll go find it, I'm sure, after this, or you can say in the comments what you see or what you're thinking about this play in particular. Again, I'm not trying to blame refs because I just haven't had a view of it that tells me, okay, that's why it was that call. The only thing I can think of, again, without watching a replay other than what we saw live during the game, the only thing that I can think of is TCU got it clearly, and maybe the guy was getting up and West Virginia hit him, and then it was just everybody's on it. That's not what he saw live. It looked like a dog pile to me, and whoever comes out with that's going to be their ball. But it's not the case, unfortunately. So that was a missed opportunity. And then, of course, you need to stop. And this is maybe the first time all year outside of the Pitt game where you're like, all right, West Virginia gets the ball back. You know what? I think we're going to go back and score this thing. We're going to win this football game. West Virginia's unable to get the ball back. Third down, pass completion for TCU. And then you force a fumble, and you have as good of opportunity as anybody to jump on it, and it ends up back in TCU's arms, and that's the ball game as they knee it out. So missed opportunity there. Again, those are, kind of just some things, right? I mean, that was an incredible play. I forget who forced that fumble. I don't think it was Fred Perry, right? Your mind would immediately think Fred Perry, but I don't think it was him. Whoever it was, great play. And, ball's loose, you got a 50-50 chance, right? Either my team's getting it or your team's getting it, and their team happened to get it. Just crushing, right? Because the onside kick didn't work out. Then you have maybe an opportunity. The only thing TCU's receiver had to do was fall down, and he didn't. Try to get a couple yards, whatever, and almost came back to bite him, but it didn't. But missed opportunities all over the field for West Virginia. And again, I think it obviously, based on those things and the things we've talked about over the last few minutes, could have been a different outcome. It wasn't. West Virginia loses, right? However you slice it. Each week through Big 12 play, all this one kept your attention through the fourth quarter, which was a nice change. It goes down in the record book just like the rest of them as a loss. So back to the drawing board. Especially looks to finish out this season, but there were some positives. If you didn't check out the full-on recap episode, you can go check that out. And again, another episode to be on the lookout for, talking about Scotty Fox and his performance that we can be encouraged by. For episode 59 of Mountaineer Moment, my name's Troy, and we will see you next time.